How can regular working people like us, how can we fix our broken financial system to redirect the wealth and power from big banks, traditional corporations, and the super rich to us regular working people without relying on politicians or regulations? This is the question we ask on the Crowd Effect podcast. I am your host, Paul Lovejoy, activist investment advisor at Stakeholder Enterprise. Today, we're going to be talking about how we react to having such a unfair, unjust financial system. And I'm going to start things off with a story. This morning, I made both of my kids cry. I'm not proud of that. And let me back up here a little bit. Last week was my older son's birthday. He turned 11, and we surprised him on his birthday morning by filling up a bunch of balloons and putting it into his room while he was sleeping so that when he woke up, the floor was covered with balloons. It was really cool. He had this awesome reaction, and it was awesome. Um, that was last week. The balloons are still here. Um, they're not helium, but just regular balloons, and they love to play with them. They hit them. I have two sons. Uh, one's 9. The younger one's 9, and they're playing around with them. And so for the last the prior 3 mornings, they have been distracted with these balloons and have been late to school. And this morning, I told them, "Hey, we want to be uh, at school on time. That means we want to be outside with our shoes on by 7:30." And after they finish breakfast, um, they get distracted again with the balloons. And I it, well, I chose to react with anger, and uh, it wasn't a conscious decision. It was more of a reflexive decision. And I said, "Okay, I'm going to start popping balloons until I hear kids brushing teeth." And so they run to the bathroom. Well, one of them does. The other one didn't. So I started to pop a balloon. I popped one. And then my older son told his younger brother, "Hurry, get into the bathroom." But at that point, I already popped a second balloon. And now I hear the toothbrush. And I also hear tears and crying. And it's my younger son. He's crying pretty hard. He doesn't want to feel responsible for balloons popping. They really enjoy just hitting them around, talking about them. And my older son, he wasn't really crying, but he was clearly sad. And I didn't feel good. I didn't feel good saying uh, that I was going to pop their balloons. I didn't feel good popping their balloons. None of it felt good. No one felt good. That yes, they got to outside in a timely manner, but it's not a sustainable way of doing things. It's not going to um, help tomorrow or the next time. What instead I have been practicing is something that I learned from a book, Calmer, Happier, Easier Parenting by Noelle Janice Norton. And essentially, she has this framework where you announce and acknowledge. That's not what she calls it, but that's essentially what it is. You announce, "Hey, I want, hey, boys are going to be outside at 7:30. That's the announcement. It's not even, you don't even say I want, it's not expressing a desire. It's an announcement. Boys are going to be outside by 7:30. And when I saw my older son starting to play with the balloon and talking to his younger brother about it, I acknowledge, I see you playing with the balloon. Now, I've done this in the past and I do this often. Um, you know, anytime they're doing the routine, oh, I see you on on the floor instead of taking a shower or whatever it is. You just acknowledge it. You don't say, "Hey, go take a shower." You don't demand anything. It's just you just acknowledge what's going on, and all of a sudden, because you announced it earlier, it's time for your nighttime routine. Then they know that that's what they should be doing, and you just acknowledge what they're currently presently doing. And this is a very, very effective tactic. It makes me feel good because I don't have to tell them what to do. And it makes them feel good because they're not being told what to do, and it creates a sense of responsibility for them. And this is the ideal way of parenting for me, and it feels great. Okay, so what does this have anything to do with reacting to an unfair, unjust financial system? And can we announce and acknowledge to big banks and powerful corporations, um, or the general public, a strategy to do this? Well, this strategy has been used in the past very effectively by the Mahatma Gandhi. Um, the British Empire levied a tax on salt. So Gandhi announced to the people of India that he was going to the ocean to make his own salt. And he started to march to the ocean to get the salt. And people started to follow, and he acknowledged the people that started to follow him towards this march to the sea. And of course, the British Empire tried, brutally was trying to stop this march, and the world press saw this and took pictures of people just simply trying to go to the ocean to get salt. And it was a very effective tactic um, that made the British Empire look really, really bad. And what ended up happening was, yeah, Gandhi went to the ocean and got salt, started making salt, and the people of India started to make their own salt. Didn't have to pay these ridiculous taxes on salt. Similar thing happened with clothing in India, and Gandhi did the same thing. Okay, there's a tax on fabrics. Well, we're gonna make our own, and he acknowledged when other people made their own. And these were the two big movements that really led to the independence of India. So announce and acknowledge is very powerful. And um, how I've reacted to the unfairness and the unjust financial system that we have, is mainly through anger. And uh, when you react with anger, then what ends up happening is that we tend to force change. So in 2008, I was a victim of investment fraud. I was financially ruined. Um, I encouraged my mother and my brothers to invest uh, with this individual, Doug Swenson, the Bernie Madoff of Boise, Idaho. They were they lost. tremendous amounts of money. We all did. I lost my home, my self confidence. Um, and I was angry. Not only that, after losing all this, I'm seeing the big banks getting bailed out. The people who were really responsible for creating this financial crisis, they're getting bailed out, and that made me extra angry. So I wanted to force banks to change, to do the right thing, and banks, how they reacted to this anger, and I wasn't the only one angry. Plenty of people. You had the Occupy Wall Street movement, you had the Tea Party movement. All these people were really angry at the system, the unfair, unjust financial system, and all everyone were angry, and so banks reacted. Well, they get lobbyists, and they're able to prevent force any change to happen, because they have an obligation to their shareholders to maximize profit, and these regulations would um, limit their profits. And you know the way corporations are set up, that just can't happen. So that's what happens when we react with anger. It's just destructive. People are more, and then when they get lobbyists, the big banks get lobbyists. I felt even more angry, even more upset, and and then I would insult or shame online anybody who would support big banks and things like that. Well, now I have a different mindset when it comes to that. Um, I've gone through my own journey of uh, discovering that when we react with words of destruction, um, anger and shame and blame and being defensive and even gossip. All of that is words of destruction. Uh, but if we react with words of creation, informational words, acceptance, understanding, encouraging, respectful, then we no longer our cognitive capacity is no longer um, filled with such kind of vengeance and wanting to take down banks and corporations, but it's now accepting. And when we accept, I know in my case, solutions happen. Um, that's when when you accept the situation, then you can come up with solutions, and they become very crystal clear. So, and not just that, you no longer are trying to force the change, but now you have the presence of mind to be the change, like Gandhi. And so I'm announcing that I am a crowd investor. I am a crowd lender. By being a crowd lender, I am now becoming a bank. And I can't fix our broken financial system, but we can. We can fix our broken financial system by being the change, by being a bank that cares. We have the ability to loan people, uh, to individuals, to prevent predatory lending. We have that ability. There are platforms that exist that we can be a part of. We can loan to small businesses. We can loan to communities. We have this ability, and it's going to take a lot of us. And I want to acknowledge you if you are crowd lending, because this is how we get it done. My name is Paul Lovejoy. I am a crowd investor, and I see you are one too.